In a soaking wet forest, you have exactly 3 hours before hypothermia makes your hands too useless to strike a lighter. Most people die with a pocket full of matches because they don't understand one simple rule of physics. Water is a heat thief. If you try to build a normal fire today, you will freeze. The average person thinks fire is about applying a flame to wood, but when the humidity hits 100% and the temperature drops, the rules of chemistry change. You are fighting a thermodynamic battle against an environment that wants to absorb every joule of energy you produce. If you rely on luck, you are going to become a statistic. Here are the top methods to cheat the rain, bypass the moisture, and ignite the unignitable. Number 1, the inside-out method. In an ideal scenario, you can just grab sticks from the ground or snap low-hanging branches and light them up. But the reality is that in a rainstorm, every piece of wood in the forest is a wet sponge. The U.S. Air Force Survival Manual, AF-64-4, teaches a critical concept. Moisture penetrates from the outside in. Even if a branch looks dry, the cambium layer and the sapwood have been soaking up water vapor for hours. Trying to light wet bark is a violation of thermodynamics. You are wasting your lighter fluid trying to boil off water before combustion can even begin. By the time the wood is dry enough to burn, your lighter is dead. The solution is the batoning technique. You need to surgically access the only dry material in the woods. Find a piece of standing deadwood, a tree that has died but hasn't fallen over. Gravity has drained most of the water. Take a wrist-thick section, place your knife across the top, and use a heavy stick, your baton, to hammer the blade through the wood. Split it down the center, then split it again. The wood in the absolute center, the heartwood, has been shielded by the outer layers. It is dry. Do not use the bark, do not use the outer ring. Shave that dry core into fine curls. Build your fire from the inside out using only the heartwood as your seed. You are essentially manufacturing dry lumber in a wet forest. Ignore the bark. Number 2, the resin inferno method. In fair weather, you look for dry grass, dead leaves, or birds' nests for tinder. But the reality is that biological materials like grass rot and absorb water instantly in humidity. In a storm, dry grass doesn't exist. It's just wet compost. Furthermore, cellulose, the fiber in grass and leaves, requires about 450 degrees Fahrenheit to combust. That is a high threshold when everything is damp. Resin, however, is a hydrocarbon. It burns hotter, catches faster, and ignores moisture. According to the Wilderness Medical Society, pine resin is nature's napalm. It is waterproof fuel. The solution is harvesting fatwood. You need to identify a dead pine tree. Look for the knots where old branches connect to the trunk or the stump of a broken pine. Trees pump resin to these joints to heal wounds. When the tree dies, the wood rots away, but the resin-hardened joints remain. Cut into that joint, and you are looking for wood that is dark red or amber and smells like turpentine. That is fatwood. It is 100% waterproof. You can dunk it in a river, wipe it off, and it will still light. Don't try to burn the solid block. Scrape the blade of your knife at a 90-degree angle along the wood to create a pile of fine orange dust. This dust will catch a spark from a ferro rod even if it's raining sideways. When everything else is wet, switch from cellulose to hydrocarbons. Quick pause. If you're serious about learning real-world preparedness and skipping the Hollywood nonsense, hit subscribe. Now, back to the list. Number 3. The chemical cheat method. In a dry survival situation, purists will tell you to use natural materials like a bow drill or flint and steel. But the reality is that real survivors use whatever keeps them alive. Ego weighs nothing, but it kills plenty of people. The U.S. Navy SEAL Survival Guide prioritizes efficiency. Friction fire and 90% humidity is a calorie-wasting suicide mission. The moisture in the air keeps the wood below its ignition point, and your sweat cools your body, accelerating hypothermia. The solution is man-made tinder, specifically cotton and petrolatum. In your kit, you should carry cotton balls soaked in petrolatum. Cotton provides the surface area, petrolatum is the fuel. Crucially, petrolatum is hydrophobic. It repels water. You can pull a soaked cotton ball out of a puddle, tear it open to expose the dry fibers inside, and it will light immediately. Unlike a match that burns for 10 seconds, a treated cotton ball burns for 3 to 5 minutes. This gives you a sustained flame hot enough to dry out damp kindling placed on top of it. It bridges the gap between your spark and your fuel. Don't be a hero, be a chemist. Number 4. The rock tunnel engine. In a perfect world, the open campfire is the default way to build a fire. But the reality is that rain and wind are convection killers. An open fire loses heat to the wind and gets smothered by the falling rain. If your heat is dispersing into the air, it isn't drying your wood. The solution is usually the Dakota fire hole, an underground tunnel that supercharges heat. But in a soaking wet forest, digging a hole often just creates a well that fills with water. So we take the physics of the Dakota hole and move it above ground. We call it the rock tunnel. If the ground is too wet to dig, build a U-shaped wall of stones on the surface. Cover the top with a large piece of wet bark or a flat rock to act as a roof. You are building an oven, not a campfire. This setup does 3 things. 1. It protects the flame from falling rain. 2. The stone walls reflect heat back into the core, pre-drying your wet wood. 3. It creates a chimney effect that forces oxygen through the coals at high velocity. This concentrates the thermal energy into a focused jet, drying out wet wood faster than an open fire ever could. Focus the heat, don't disperse it. Fire in the rain is the ultimate test. It doesn't care about your enthusiasm. It cares about dry heartwood, resin, chemicals, heat concentration, and accelerants. The amateur sits under a tree hoping the rain stops. The survivor makes their own heat. Stop relying on luck, start using physics. Stay dry, stay alive. Tactical Bear out.